fine, and it's open.
Do we want to use the mic or no mic?
I don't know, can you be loud?
I can try.
No, he can't.
Yeah, give him the mic. You're fine, Kristen, but give John the mic.
Alright.
Normally I'm like a squirrel. You can't hear me, no, it's fine.
Alright, well, for this panel I'm cosplaying Trey Clover, and my cosplay handle is Mr. Generic Cosplay. And then this over here, pinning a patch back on, because these patches do not stick, she is cosplaying Cater Diamond, and her cosplay handle is Nania Cosplay.
Woo! Thanks for the support. I can use the validation.
I don't think your character could use the validation.
Oh no, there's a reason I picked this character. Alright, so we're doing basically freshman orientation today as your third years. We're going to teach you basically everything about Twisted Wonderland and a little bit of advice on playing the game. So how many of you guys have actually played it? I assume the cosplayers.
No, they just like the characters.
How come? Well, I mean, you can cosplay just for aesthetics. I cosplayed Lilia before I even started the game, and then I cheated on it. Alright, so starting with what is Twisted Wonderland? So it's basically a Japanese mobile game created by Aniplex and Disney Japan, which means it's also technically separate from Disney, so that's why we actually get to do fun things, like my hot anime boy. And they're all inspired by Disney villains, and if you didn't know, the creator is actually Yana Toboso, I probably am butchering that, who created Black Butler. And if you know the character Jade, you can immediately see some shit in him. Welcome. Hi. What? I'm loud, it's fine.
Guess you're just starting.
Alright, so the plot of the game is pretty much you, as in you the player character, is summoned to the world of Twisted Wonderland in a giant coffin, and then your coffin is just bursted open by this weird weasel cat looking thing named Grim. And Grim's like, oh man, I really want to attend this school because I'm like obviously the best magician that ever existed, even though he's like literally 2 feet tall. And then he decides to just go make a big stink out of everything, and Crowley just shows up and he's like, you know, you're a monster cat, you really cannot attend this school, but hey, you know, there's this random human that I can't seem to figure out how to send home, and I'm not really not trying anyways. So why don't you guys just join as one student, and then, you know, I don't have to deal with you anymore. And that's basically it. And we go meet the other students, and a bunch of other stuff happens that we won't talk about because spoilers for those of you who haven't played it. Yeah.
We're basically kept around as errand boys, essentially.
Well, I mean, for the first prologue, you are technically just the janitor. It takes him like a week to determine, oh yeah, maybe we will let you attend the school. After you've already met some of the freshmen and kind of broke some of the stuff.
That's good.
What?
Errand boys, therapist, punching bag.
We do it all.
Pretty much whatever the plot needs somebody to do, it's just like, oh, you can just do it instead because the other characters won't. Alright, so the dorms. This is basically your dorm, and this is our little weasel cat Grim. He's very cute, but also very obnoxious.
He's a
grows
menace.
on you. If anything, the ghosts are probably the MVPs. They're always really super nice, especially during the Halloween event. All they ever did was just create a giant selfie trend, and then the entire like school was overrun by these crazy magic hand influencers. Not me included.
A little bit about Ramshackle.
Okay.
So, since we kind of joined the school as just one singular student, they didn't really have anywhere to put us since all the dorms were full, and he just didn't want to take the effort to try and introduce us into any dorms. So there was this one abandoned dorm, haunted by ghosts, and he just kind of stuck us in there. All dusty, covered in cobwebs. Told us, this is your home now. Do what you want with it.
Maybe clean it.
Well, you do make it look nice. It's really cute.
Didn't
As
he
you progress
force
through the
us to
game,
clean
it? Gets
it?
cleaner and cleaner.
Maybe do some repairs.
Honestly. What?
You make friends with the ghosts?
Yes. They hang out with us. They all live in there. It's basically the
tax
only
me.
dorm members that we have, even though we're considered a house. actually a fun fact about it, since all the dorms are based off like worlds in like Disney canon, there is a fan theory going around to figure out what Ramshackle actually is. And I forget what it's called, but there's this really old Disney short where Mickey is just hanging out in this random house, and it looks eerily like Ramshackle. And when you play through the game and the plot with the magic mirror, it's like, this theory is starting to make sense, but we haven't had anything. So next we'll go through the dorms. This one is our dorm by the beautiful Queen of Hearts. And she's basically, I forget what they're all called. All the Disney villains are basically thought of as like heroes in this world. Like their history is just super warped. So they all have like positive characteristics associated with them. I forget what the Queen of Hearts is. Riddle would have my head right now.
I think it's the fact that she can control and has all the rules set up.
That makes
Everyone in
sense.
line.
Should have put that in the slides. But I was just like, no, let's just make everything aesthetic. Anyway, but we'll just talk about the characters. So these are our beautiful anime boys. They're all based off of card soldiers, and then the one in the middle is our household in Riddle, who's based off Queen of Hearts. Do you want to talk about them?
Yeah, I can.
You should talk more.
All right. Starting on the right for you guys, in the blue hair is Deuce. He's a very much a lovable
That's
idiot.
left.
Well,
It's the left row.
It's the
Left.
same for us.
okay, on the left, the blue hair, that is Deuce. He is very much a lovable idiot who tries his best, but doesn't succeed very often. Moving on, next is Cater. He is very much into Magicam, which is essentially their version of Instagram. Loves taking photos, loves hashtags, very trendy, and that's kind of his thing. In the middle is Riddle, who, when you first meet him, he definitely comes across a little bit as a tyrant. Just a little bit. He has, is it 800 rules for the dorm?
Yeah, there's 800 rules.
800 rules.
He has
And
them all memorized.
every student is expected to memorize all 800 and follow every single one of those. And
They're
it's,
kind of stupid too. Like one of them is that like you can't have, it's like you can't have a certain dessert after a certain hour of the time.
I
And
think,
another one is just coffee is absolutely forbidden.
Yep.
There you go.
But yeah, he very much takes after the Queen of Hearts, and he tries to live up to his mom's expectations, which is kind of where the rules came from and how strict he is with everyone else. Next to him in the green hair is me, Trey, and he is essentially the sort of father figure in a way of the dorm. He looks, he looks after everyone, tries to keep Riddle in mind since him and Riddle are childhood friends and they know each other the best. And he's the only one who can really kind of control him when he wants to start taking people's heads off. And then off to the far right is Ace, and he is a slightly less lovable idiot.
He's like a lovable bastard.
Yes, very much so.
By the way, when we say Riddle wants to take our heads, he's not actually going to take our heads like Queen of Hearts does. One of his signature spell is called Off With Your Head. And it basically just puts this really gaudy looking heart-shaped collar on you, and it seals your magic. And it doesn't disappear unless you leave campus or he takes it off of you. Which actually, our little lovable bastard spends like most of chapter 1 with the collar on. So the next dorm is Savanaclaw. Run by Scar. I can see we have a bias here. After that, it's my least favorite dorm. Except for Ruggy. He's the best boy. Yeah.
About Jack.
I love Jack, but Ruggy just stole our hearts. Like, seriously, in the camping event, like,
Yeah.
Can you not love Ruggy out there? Alright, so starting with Ruggy, you're talking about. You love Ruggy.
He's like the reason I got into the game.
Of course. In the here I thought it would be Scar, because he's hot. Well, Leona.
Okay, more like them together is the reason I got into the game.
That's the only reason I like Leona. That's why we love him.
All right, now Ruggy, the one off to the left, short one. He is very mischievous. He's kind of the right-hand man to Leona, runs all of his errands. Leona being the one in the middle, the dorm leader. He is based off of Scar. He's very, very lazy, very strong, but doesn't want to do anything, just wants to sleep all the time. Really not the best dorm leader by any means.
He's a giant
He basically
cat.
has Ruggy do everything for him. And Ruggy, where he can, tries to scalp as much stuff as he can off the side for any money, anything that he can send back home. But it kind of goes back to his upbringing and how he was raised. And then off to the far right is Jack, who kind of wants to do things right and go by the rules and butts heads with Ruggy and Leona quite frequently, since he doesn't always agree with how they go about doing things. And this dorm is primarily focused around, like, it's kind of like the dorm of jocks, essentially.
And they
They're
literally
always-
have practice every morning for their equivalent of like extreme frisbee meets football.
Spell check.
I was gonna call it magic it, but then I was just like, that's the Japanese. I forgot what they call it in English. I read a lot of the translations before the game came out, so I'm just like, I can't get what it is anymore. It switches between.
Leona does have a lovely item, though. So he has one thing going for him.
Chica. Chica is basically the Simba equivalent in the game. I don't have a picture of him, but look it up. It's the most precious thing you'll ever see. Unless you count Ruggy as his lovely item, that could also be it.
I mean, you could.
Multiple lovely items. Alright, here we have the best dorm. I just love every single character, so I'm just like, even though I still won't join them. So it's based off of Ursula, and honestly, they are just the mafia of Twisted Wonderland.
Pretty much.
So here's our dorm members. So over here, we've got Jade, or actually, we'll go left to right. We got Floyd first. He is, okay, they're twins. Jade and Floyd are based off the heels. One is a psychopath, one is a sociopath.
Yes.
But they're fun and enjoyable, and all they ever do is just follow the one in the middle, based off Ursula, and he's Ozzel. He runs basically the equivalent of a bar in his dorm, and also just makes a bunch of back deals in his office to just take away other students' magic and make as much profit as possible. And they're just like, hey, you're kind of fun. We're gonna follow you until it's boring. That's essentially their gimmick. But it's really great. Do you want to add anything about them?
This is your dorm. You just claimed it as your favorite.
I did. They are my favorite. Yes, right.
Jade or Floyd?
I'm asking the audience.
We were getting there.
Alright. All in favor of Jade. All in favor of Floyd. Alright, I guess
I
Floyd
never
is one
played this game. What am I
today.
supposed to base it on? How they look?
It's all the personalities.
The Jade.
Fuck Floyd. I love the fun crazy times, okay? I don't need another Sebastian. I was like, I knew immediately people would do that. What? Yeah, I was like, I thought you said you, and I was like, she's a Jade stan.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I think we've even had the polls going before. Jade or Floyd, but I think Jade won back then. It's the wrong answer. Alright, next is Scarabia. You want to talk about them?
You're pretty neat. I'm pretty neat.
Alright. Someone needs to catch up.
Just a little bit.
Alright, Scarabia is based off of Jafar. And we only have 2 members in here. So the one on the left is Callie. He's our house warden. And basically he is like a ray of sunshine, super lovable, but also a little bit too free-spirited. So let's be honest, the real house warden is Jamil. He's the one that runs everything, much to his chagrin. But, I mean, he's pretty awesome. He's like Trey, but like a little bit more sassier. I guess, would that make him a mom instead of a dad?
Yes.
No, he's the one.
Yeah, the sassy aunt that makes talk shit about everybody. I don't know what to say about them. They felt so short because he's only 2. That's their entire dynamic. Alright, then we'll just go to Pomefiore. So this one is based off the Evil Queen, and they're basically all about beauty. So here we've got Apple, the one that shouldn't have been in Pomefiore. Basically all he is just like a super pretty face. But when you meet him, he's actually a big country bumpkin that just wants to be a jock, but he didn't grow up big enough for it. But it's really cute. He actually, in his dorm uniform, he does ride a motorcycle in his Groovy. It's pretty cool. But nobody is ever going to take him seriously with that face. And then we have Bill in the middle. He is our dorm leader, and also probably like one of the most famous actors in the world, if not the most. I guess Neige would be the only one that beats him out, which is just the Snow White equivalent. I don't get how he's really just not that cute in comparison to Bill. You know, whatevs. So he's like a model, actor, does it all, even making a beauty line. If you read his support with Oswald, they make a lotion together, and it's really funny, especially when you find out what it's made out of. They bring out Floyd to make this lotion because they're like, oh, our skin is so beautiful and hydrating all the time, so let's just steal it from you. It's a really funny group. And then we've got Brooke, our resident stalker. He is the huntsman, and just like the huntsman, all he ever does is just hunt other students in every sense of the word. But he's fun, so you can forgive him for it until you see his little room art and you realize the wallpaper is falling off to reveal a bunch of pictures behind it. Hilarious.
So hashtag stalker.
Oh no, it's not a secret.
Okay.
You want to say anything about them?
It's funny because Apple is also always getting in trouble with Bill. He's breaks his character, so to speak, a lot. He slips up and then his country slang comes out, and it's really quite funny when he starts getting yelled at.
So next we have Ignihyde, which is the dorm based off Hades, and it's kind of interesting what they did with this one because they did a twist where like the entire dorm is super technologically advanced, and every single character or member of the dorm is a massive NEET. So they don't actually go outside and talk to anybody. If you go inside their dorm, their common room is probably empty. Even their dorm leader, right here, Ignihyde, doesn't talk to anybody, and most of the time when they have big meetings, he just sends his tablet to go talk for him as he's sitting in his room.
Kind of makes sense if they're like, Hades is god of the underworld. He doesn't get out much either.
Right.
He has a job to do.
Well, I mean, to be perfectly honest, Ignihyde doesn't do his job. That's why Ortho's there. Ortho goes and does it for him. He's the only extrovert of the entire dorm. And technically, he's not a dorm member. Yeah, he's just basically his little robot brother. And he's just like, yeah, I don't want to go to school alone, so you have to also let my brother come to school with me. So he attends every class with Ignihyde. And it's really funny to see this little baby robot amongst all the third years going to class. He's so cute. You want to say anything?
I don't know too much about him. Besides the fact that Ignihyde really likes movies. Very much so. We find out that a lot during the Halloween event.
It's basically a playoff Sleepy Hollow, but really bad when you listen to the plot summary of the in-universe movie. It's hilarious. He's basically just the equivalent of us in the real world. Massively. Alright, and then we have the last dorm, Diasomnia, based off Maleficent. And pretty much this is probably the character that everyone has seen because he's all over the promotional artwork. He is the second from the left, Malleus. And also questionably the most canonical love interest for you. I mean, he's got it bad for you. It's quite cute. But the one on the left is obviously the best choice. No, I'm just kidding. He is horrible, but I love him for it. He's basically the most massive Malleus simp that has ever simped before. If you think people in the fandom are Malleus simps, just meet Sebek. All he does all day is just obsess over him, runs around trying to figure out if he can help him. He's like that one meme from Mean Girls. It's like, I just wish, like, I just spend all my time talking about Malleus, and then the other half of the time, I pray that someone brings him up so I can talk about him more.
The Marge Simpson meme. I just think he's neat.
Exactly. But I mean, he means well. He's a complete idiot, overly confident, super smug. But then you find out he can't do anything, right? I don't really know what to say about Malleus.
October 6th, Malleus asked me for hints.
Yeah, because we don't really know.
He doesn't talk much at all, except about gargoyles.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. He's a mystery. We're barely getting his chapter now, and that's only in Japanese. We're still reading translations. In the English, we're actually on Ignihyde's chapter, where it just focuses on their dorm. So in plain, we still don't really know much about this dorm. So it's kind of unfortunate. Yes, Tara?
I have a question. How can some dorms have so much more members than others?
You know, I have asked that every single day, and I don't know why either. I'm just
Some
like,
dorms
justice
get
for
around
Ignihyde,
with
you only have one real student. But I mean, heck, we get like 5 members for our dorm, so it's fine. Yeah, I don't actually know. And it's not, it doesn't even make sense too. Like some characters, like you could have had characters based off of them in the original canon, and then they just don't, and they decide to make up new ones. So it's like a little bit odd. I mean, I just wish we could have gone to Pain and Panic character. That's all I wanted. Yeah. Anyways, do you want to talk about Lilia, or should I?
He was your original favorite.
Yeah, I know. Lilia is, he's like that one cool goth uncle that you got. He is
He's a
canonical
troll.
dad for this dorm. Yeah, he's actually the adoptive father of the one on the very right, Silver, and also the master of Sebek. So he trained him, so they basically grew up together. And he also raised Malleus. He's really old. He's a grandpa.
He's canonically in textbooks.
Yes, he is. It's really funny. It's like, oh, there's Lilia Sama. I find it so funny. If you read his history vignette, he talks to Trey, and he's just like, oh yeah, I remember when things used to be like this, and it's basically a giant joke about smartphones. He's like, yeah, we used to be like the thing where you had to make wands as small as possible, and then it got really cool where everything was as big as possible, and now everything's just kind of normal again, and Trey's like, crap, like, what are you talking about? Just like, okay, that's cool. Can we do our assignment now? It's a good story. But yeah, so basically Lilia just runs around doing whatever the hell he wants. He's super powerful and so old that he just doesn't care anymore. He just travels the world, and now he's just like, oh, somebody's got to match Malleus at school, so I guess it's time to be a high schooler all over again. Even though he looks younger than Malleus. But it's fine. And then Silver is basically our Aurora. He is like the sweetest boy ever, and it's really funny because he canonically attracts wild animals to him. You can just see him when he just falls asleep from his chronic is there even an illness named for that? He falls asleep everywhere. And he canonically attracts like squirrels and birds to him, so it's like you just see him sleeping there, and it's just like, you look like a princess. Do you want to say anything about Silver?
I was going to touch on Malleus a little bit as well.
Okay.
So I think so far Malleus is canonically the strongest character as well out of all of the students, and he's forgotten a lot for dorm meetings, so they always forget to invite him. And then they also try to not include him in tournaments as well, just because he is so strong. Yeah.
I mean, he basically just one-rounded everyone in the last tournament, so I was just like, it's not even fun to watch anymore. Can we just induct you on the entire Hall of Fame for this sport?
Why isn't he in the jock dorm then?
Because Diasomnia is basically the dorm for all the super magically gifted people. So it really makes more sense for him to be here. Plus, I mean, he is literally the prince from the Valley of Thorns, and Maleficent is canonically from the Valley of Thorns. So it's just like, yeah, I know you're basically the poster child for that entire country. We're gonna throw you in this other dorm. That would be a little bit awkward.
Crowley's not willing to face that much chaos.
No, actually, Malleus and Leona canonically hate each other, so that entire dorm would be leveled within the day. Anyway, you want anything else, or can I move? All right. So, question for the audience: which dorm is your favorite? And if you haven't played the game,
Savanaclaw.
which dorm would you pick?
Savanaclaw.
What's your favorite?
Actually, my favorite too.
I think you're in the wrong cosplay.
I took his hand. I had to.
That's fair. Well, I mean, I took Lillian's hand and then I left. Yeah, I left for Heartslabyul and then I'm like, nah, I think I'm gonna join Octavinelle. Or maybe I'll go back to Diasomnia. I don't know. Honestly, though, if I was really in Heartslabyul, I would be kicked out within like the first week just because I don't want to follow the rules. I'd probably just be kicked out for making a cup of coffee every single morning. Yeah. What's your favorite dorm, Sean?
So I'm currently behind on getting through the story. I'm currently making my way through Scarabia at the moment, so I'm quite a ways behind. But at the moment, I would say Heartslabyul is my favorite.
What a cop-out answer.
Once I get to Diasomnia, I think there's a chance for that to be my favorite dorm. It just feels like the most relaxed and pretty peaceful out of all of them. But maybe. I don't want to be used by Oswald, so.
Actually, it's funny. Canonically, Cater has said if he ever went to Octavinelle, that would be the dorm he would choose other than Heartslabyul. He's like, I would make a killing working for Oswald because I can just clone myself and I can just be run around, but I make like 5 paychecks at the same time. Oh yeah, cloning is my signature spell. Alright, so now we'll get into gameplay. So, if you didn't know ahead of time, Twisted Wonderland is a gacha game. So you can easily fall down the rabbit hole.
Oh.
Not saying I have. But that's not the only thing you can do. You don't have to summon cards. You honestly can get through it with just easy cards for the events. It's only if you want to do exams that you need better cards, and only if you want like really high rankings, which don't matter. So honestly, you don't need to. There's also rhythm games and turn-based battles would be the main gameplay. So for the gacha system, it's
Gambling.
well, I was gonna say honestly a little unforgiving.
Yeah.
He's got a horror story about that. So each card has a rarity. So there's 3 types of cards. There's the R cards, which are really easy to summon. You're guaranteed an R card on every summon that you do, and it's basically just like their school uniforms and like their
The basic card.
their gym outfits. And then sometimes in the events, there's like an R card that you would get just from playing like the story and stuff.
And those R cards can also be purchased as well, if you want them sooner.
Yeah, you can just spend your thal marks and you get like 1,000 thal marks. Just dollars. Honestly, you get to a point where you've summoned so much that just summoning an R card is just summoning like an extra perfume to buy stuff in the shop. The next rarity is the SR cards, so that would be their ceremonial robes and their lab coats, as well as just like any of the higher rating cards from the events. So that would be like the card you get for completing the event, or like completing the event and then doing extra stuff. And then the ultimate ones are the SSR cards. So those would be like the dorm uniforms or the specific character that was featured in the event. And their birthday cards are also considered the SSR cards. So question for the audience, which one was your first SSR from the gacha, if you've played it?
Mine was Deuce.
It was Deuce? It took me so long to get a Deuce. It was actually funny. Deuce was his favorite character for a long time. And I finally reached Pity and I was like, oh hey, I got a Deuce. You still don't have one?
I think there was a really hot Leona that you helped me get.
Which one? I mean, pretty much everyone is on Leona.
I don't know. He was like sleeveless or something. He was like being
That's
lazy.
lovely.
Wait, considering you're in the game, that should have been the dorm uniform.
Well, I can't pull up the game. I'm filming your panel.
Thank you. Alright, who else? Who has played the game?
I actually pulled Ruggy for my first SSR.
Seriously?
I pulled the Vargas Camp Ruggy. I was so excited. It was so
You
cute.
got Vargas
I cried.
Camp Ruggy?
I cried.
Anyway,
I participate in desserts quite often. I have Groom Edia, Groom Ace, Star Deuce.
jeez, you have a lot.
Not Stargate, the Scouting Sun General, and some birthday cards, and some other ones probably.
Oh my god, I can tell you've played a lot. I can't even remember all the ones I got. I do remember. My first SSR, I was trying to get Floyd. And I actually got Cater on his birthday on the Floyd dorm card. So I'm just like, oh, I guess it was meant to be. Do you remember yours? Oh wait, we know yours.
I'm pretty sure mine was Ace, and I did not want Ace, and I have gotten too many of the dorm SSR Aces. Like I've probably gotten at least 6 by now.
I think you've uncapped him, like gotten 2 more after you've uncapped him.
Yeah, it's
haunting
bad.
your game.
Just let it happen.
Ace just wants to make trouble, I guess. In game, out of game.
He's still not the worst. Well, the worst character. Are we moving on from the gacha
No,
now?
tell your horror story, it's funny.
Okay, so in a lot of games, there's usually, like for example, I don't know if anyone has played Genshin Impact. So
Yep.
you can, when summoning for a 5-star character, soft pity is usually around like 75, and then hard pity is 90.
Yeah.
If you lose the 50-50, you go up to 90 again, you're guaranteed the card. Well, in Twisted Wonderland, unless it's, because the birthday cards are guaranteed if you cap out, right?
Yeah, that's the only 5-star in the pool.
Yeah, so you're guaranteed that if you reach 100 summons. With all the other event exclusives, from what I know, there's no like stopping point of when you're guaranteed for sure that card. I went to go get New Year's Cali, went to 100 pity, didn't get them. I had to go up to 200 pity to get Cali, and I could have even lost that because I don't think there's like a set cap on that. And I think in the Japanese server, they're changing it to where there is a hard cap on 200 to get the guarantee card, but they should really change that because you can drop a lot of money and still not get the card that you want. Most games have a system to where it caps, but so far no one that I know has gone up that high without getting the card yet before.
I mean, at least you got him. At least you had to spend money for that.
So he's a $200 card.
I had
It's not
a lot of stuff
It's
saved
a lot more
up.
than that.
I didn't have to spend as much as I thought I was going to, but I didn't expect to go up to 200 pity. It was awful.
How much did you spend?
We don't keep track.
I don't know.
I keep tracking Genshin. I have not checked this game.
The Black
Genshin
Lotus.
is
Of course,
worse.
I'm exaggerating. Nothing is as valuable as Black Lotus.
Alright, so for the game mode, let's stop talking about our financial instability. So basically, these are game modes, and it's really easy because most of the time you can just auto do these, so you don't even have to sit there and play it. So if you go to history class, it's basically just leveling up your cards, and honestly, one of the only things you ever do. I don't think I ever go to gym anymore. So basically, all you have to do is just pick 5 cards. One of them is like your main study buddy, and they're more guaranteed to get like the extra points and experience, but like it's not like it's a hard thing where they only get the experience. It's just kind of random on whoever like answers the question and gets the points. And you can use different items to make it faster. So like the cupcake, I think makes it so you get more perfects. And I forget what is the one that you have to do to get more experience? Like all I remember is like there's waffles and then macaroons. I ran out so long ago, so I'm like I don't use them anymore. Flight is just vignettes, and for those you just use like gosh, I don't use the items. I wasted them all. But yeah, I honestly don't go to flights anymore. All it is just for leveling up vignettes, which are like the side stories, and there's only like 2 levels for that for each character, so you finish them really fast. But it's kind of funny if you watch the flight lessons, you can tell who's a really good flyer and who's a really bad flyer by how they do it. So Ozil is the canonically worst flyer out of everybody, which makes sense. He's an octopus. He would not want to be in the sky. So you see him on there, and he's just like so freaking scared. Even Jade too. They hover like 1 foot off the ground. And even like when they do really well, it's like, oh, I'm like right here now. I did awesome. Meanwhile, like freaking Epple is over there skateboarding across the sky. Is Malleus the best flyer?
Does he even use the broom half the time?
He doesn't need to. I mean,
So
Lily
I'd
just
say,
sits
yeah,
there and has
probably.
bats carry his room. It's just like, it's fine. Okay. And then alchemy is just leveling up your buddy ring. So, like certain cards are like friends with other cards and they give you boosts. So you'd have to level up the buddy rank using alchemy, and it's attached to each individual card. So it's not like you can just do it with 2 characters and then they're good for like all time. What else would you say about
I mean, that's really the whole point is for buddy ranks. And then I think there was a slide on that. Well, it'll lead into this.
Yeah, so buddy ranks are really important for battles. So for SSR cards, you get duo magic, which is basically just you get an extra attack, and also really cute quotes whenever you activate it, and you have to activate it with the specific characters. So if you see on the little icon down here with Ruddy, he has a little miniature icon with Jack, so then you know that he has leveled up his magic so that he can do duo magic with Jack. So you'd have to pick both of them at the same time in order to use it. And you can use it with like friend cards too. I always just like send friend requests to people who have really strong cards just so I can go steal them for battles. Most of the time I just use his riddle because it's overpowered, already uncapped a few times, and I'm just like, thanks for hitting like a truck, I'm already done in the first round. And do you want to say anything about that? I know you're doing that often.
Well, I was just gonna give like an overview of like playing the game, I guess, because to try and tie everything together on like how it works.
Okay. How many of you guys have played the battle system? I know you.
Sort of.
Okay, so most
How
of the
much-
people.
Understanding do you guys have of it? Alright. I guess we'll probably teach you on it. Alright, so basically it's kind of like Pokemon. And like water beats fire, fire beats grass, grass beats water. And then there's just neutral spells. And fun fact, most of the neutral spells are dark magic, except for Kalim and Silver. And I feel like there's one more, but those are the only two I remember. They actually have white magic, which considering who they're kind of based off of and their personalities makes so much sense. They're like the good guys. So like basically each spell is, or each card has like 2 spells. So the first spell is always just like a strong attack, or usually a strong attack that only has like 1 attack, and the second spell is like 2 attacks, and it's like weak attacks, unless you're Riddle and you just cheat and you get like 3, and you get it at 10. I think Leona's also like that.
Yeah.
So basically as you level them up, they get a lot stronger, and then at level 5 and level 10, they change their properties. And a lot of the spells have extra properties. So if you really need a healer, I recommend Dorm also. He heals like every turn. And Trey also heals on his water attack. And basically, like when you have a battle, you only get like a set number of parts, so you're gonna have to I guess it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's whatever card you're gonna draw next, and you don't know which one that's gonna be, so you gotta plan around that. And honestly, it's not even that hard. You can auto battle it all the time. Although I always find the auto battle picks kind of stupid cards. It's like it's got a duo magic right there, and it's just like, nah, I'm gonna use these 2 cards that don't even interact with each other. But mostly you just want to pick the ones that give bonuses and stuff, if not just doing duo magic.
And then if you really want to like try and compete in like the battle events and stuff, something to pay attention to. A lot of the cards that you summon, they have a like focus on them, so they're either a defensive focus card or balanced or attack focus. So that's something to consider when building your team. So stat wise, some will do more damage than others, some are tankier so they can take more hits, and some are just pretty good overall. And then each card, for the SSR cards, they duo with one specific character. So if you're really into just like the battling, you want to pay attention when banners come up. If you like using a certain character, find characters that can duo together. So that's just something to consider when summoning.
Oh, and also they do have a very specific event. It's the magical like exam that comes up every so often that Curly runs. In that you get like rankings for how well you do a battle. I don't know all the specifics, but as far as I know, you mostly get a bunch more points when you get a certain amount of duo magic activated, and if you do like a certain amount of damage as well as like how little damage you take, so that would improve your score a lot.
But there's really not like too much of like a competitive focus on this game for battling. It's just for
Or if
getting
you want to
through the
show up
story.
with the tag.
Yeah.
Like I'm S rank. Or SS rank if you're the Super Bowl player. Alright, Twist Tunes is your thing. I hate Twist Tunes. He does my Twist Tunes for me.
So I enjoyed Twist Tunes besides the Heartslabyul and then now Scarabia ones where it's the purple circles spotting everywhere. I just can't do those very well. The tapping in a row from different sides, that's fine because it's coming across the screen. So basically, it's just rhythm games essentially. So as you're playing through the story, normally the story is, because it's basically a JRPG.
Yeah.
So a lot of it is just like dialogue based stuff. Not every story chapter has either a twist tune or battle. They're kind of scattered throughout. And they relate to whatever story you're doing. The music is also themed for whatever dorm or event you're doing as well. And then it's pretty much just tapping along to the song. They have different types. For the purple ones, you have to tap on the screen. It'll be like a timer going down. You tap on the location and they just pop up wherever. It's the same every time, so you can get better in playing and get the rhythm down for it. And then like this one, they're just coming diagonally across the screen and you just tap when it gets in the circle. So it's pretty self-explanatory for those. They have a ranking bar at the top, so how well you do increases your ranking, and then there are also rewards you can get as well for the twist tunes. So since it's not too difficult to get gems, but you don't really get them as frequently from events, so you're going to need to, over time, try and work on twist tunes to complete the challenges if you're really big into summoning. And the challenges are for like getting SS rank on all of them, and then getting great combos on the easy and normal, which is basically getting either perfect or great on every tap, not getting a good, bad, or miss. So I think that kind of sums it up.
Okay. The new guest room feature. So basically, we recently got the new update where we actually have a whole guest room in Ramshackle where you can just invite other characters, and you can decorate it as cute as you want it to be. And each, like, there's a bunch of different furniture sets that are more like themed towards the dorms. So there's like a Heartslabyul one, there's a Scarabia one, and then there's just like other ones. Like this one, I think is like the super cutesy, trendy set. I think Cater actually likes this one too. And each character kind of has like their own personal like likings for each one, and you can invite them to your dorm to get friendship, which helps unlock the cards so that you can get them into higher levels. So definitely recommend inviting your favorite card or like your strongest card to your guest room every single day, just so you can start unlocking it.
Yeah, primarily for your SSRs, because that's the only way so far to get past 100.
And you can invite our cards, I really recommend it. And one really funny thing is that if you have like, I think it's only if your room is kind of dirty, or it might just be random, but every so often you'll walk in and there's just a giant fight going on. And it doesn't really matter which characters are there. It can be totally random. And it's like, you just stop the fight, and it's really funny to see like who the heck was actually fighting right now. The other day I had Grim fighting with Silver, and I'm just like, how did this even happen? It's like, how does Silver have the energy for this?
You have a Grim card?
No, Grim was just there in the guest room. I was like, what are you doing? Wait, I do have a Grim card.
Yeah.
That's why he made it to the guest room. I was like, what are you doing here? You get Grim cards from the anniversary events, actually. The first anniversary, I think, is just his normal outfit, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the second anniversary is his lab coat, and we recently had the third anniversary in the Japanese server, so he gets his little ceremonial robes.
I don't want it.
You
Give
definitely
it
want
back.
it because the Groovy art
The
is
Groovy is
top
amazing.
tier. He has the best Groovy art.
It's a
hands
weasel
down.
and you know it.
Okay, so the Groovy art, every single year, they focused on a different set, or the first years were the first year. So his Groovy art is all of the freshmen together. And then the second year, it's all of the second years together. And I've still not seen it posted yet, but the third years will be in the next Groovy, and I can't wait for that one. That wallpaper is beautiful. So get the Grim card. You want it.
No, I don't.
And since we're talking about Groovies, for anyone who hasn't played the game,
Oh yeah, Groovies.
yeah, when you summon a card, it comes with a set of artwork for the character. And then Groovying, you have to do a certain amount of lessons and then reach a certain vignette level, and then you use materials to basically level up the card, which boosts the stats, and then it also gives you a second thing of artwork as well. So that's how some cards look different.
Yeah, it's basically just based in their story. So it has something to do with whatever the vignette talked about. So for example, I'll just use mine because I remember it off the top of my head. So in my vignette story, basically all the Heartslabyul dorm cards have to do with them planning their own birthday party for the year. So Cater's was just him cleaning up the entire party because they were all judging him for the lack of work that he did, and he was talking about, oh, I'm not very good at practical magic. And so at the end of the party, they were just like, well, we need to clean up everything. You really dropped the ball. So then he's just like, just wait, I've got it. I know where everything goes because I've been taking pictures. And so he just waves his wand, and all the plates just start flying around in the basket. So it's just kind of like him with all the plates running around. And it's really funny because you can see the cake in the background that the first year's made, the complete monstrosity. So it's just like really cute when you look at those cards. They have a lot of like little hidden details and stuff. Alright. Do you guys have any favorite game modes?
I actually love the twist tunes.
I do too.
Is it a majority twist tunes here? I know, they're fun. I just suck at them. Alright, so events is the main thing that we do. They're all pretty simple. You have the culinary crucible, which happens every so often, and it's really easy to do. All you do is just kind of like cook. And you do get like one card guaranteed in like the pool, so you honestly just do, one card guaranteed from doing the event. So you can honestly just do like one pool to get the other card. It's always just 2 students at a time, and they have like little chef outfits. It's really adorable. And then there's always the battle-based events, which are basically just doing the story, and all you ever do is battle. So there's not like a single twist tune in there. So those would be things like the Beans Day event, which is just capture the flag on a massive level. So it makes sense why it's a battle event. And then there's like the twist tune events, like the Fairy Gala. So it's all just like rhythm games for that one. And then of course, the other events are the birthday campaigns. So then this is like a gotcha game. We always celebrate every character's birthday because it's a really easy cash grab. So last year, it started with Cater's birthday because he was the first one to show up when the game got released. And we had like all of them in these white birthday suits, and it changes every year. They all have the same exact outfit. So this year, Cater's birthday already passed again. So now they're doing the Union jackets, which is what we're wearing now. So it's the Letterman jacket. And of course, in the Japanese server, it started with Jamil, was the first birthday that they had. So we already see what it looks like for the 3rd year. And since they're not doing a Halloween event, supposedly this year, they're compensated by making everyone wear these really cute witches outfits. So they're adorable and really complicated, so I'm just like, man, I want to wear this, but I don't want to make it. Still waiting on costume for that. But they're really cute if you look at them. Alright. Do you guys have any favorite events so far? I know it's kind of timed, so I don't know how many of you guys made it to those.
The birthday events. I really like those, the campaigns.
Oh, they're so cute, especially when you get like their little story. Do you ever go into the shop to buy their little brooms?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel so bad. I forgot to buy some of them last year, and I'm just like, oh, I didn't buy this one. Yes. The what?
The Tsum Tsum event.
The Tsum Tsum.
That is the current event going on right now. It's like the invasion of the little plushies that they sell at the Disney store, but they're all based off the characters. Yeah, I'm still playing. So just to finish off, we are actually, we do have a manga for it. It's based off the game. It's not exactly the same, so there are some changes. Like for example, like we can't just have a player character be silent the entire time, so they did make a protagonist called Enma Yukin to fill the role. And it's really funny because he's actually like super buff and like a kendo champion, so it's just like, wow, that's you? I wouldn't have expected that. But it's pretty fun, and the pre-orders are now available on Amazon for the English release that's coming out. I think it's releasing this summer. So definitely go check it out if you can. It's really cute when you see, well, I've only seen pictures because I can't read Japanese, but it's really cute. And then we do have an anime, maybe. I don't know, it's rumored. But it's supposed to come to Disney Plus this year. They just haven't said anything for the past 2 years. But we got, you know, a promo art. That's about it. It exists, I guess. But yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, time. 3 minutes. Hey, do you guys have any questions, comments, horror stories? It's fun to talk about it.
Apple?
Twisted Wonderland.
Okay, so when it first came out in Japan, I was like pretty obsessive because how could you not love Disney villains and like anime mixed together? Like ever since I was a kid, I always liked the Disney villains way more than the princesses. Like I had a natural obsession over Ursula, which is probably why Octavinelle is my favorite dorm. Same with like Alice in Wonderland. I was just like, I want to live here, but I also don't want to be Alice. I want to be over here with this tyrant queen. So that's basically why. And then once I found out that it was finally getting translated, I was just like, all right, we're done. And I immediately went to Amazon, bought a Lilia cosplay. He seems like the cutest design. And reading the bios, I thought he would be my favorite. Which he still is. He's just now in level 3. I forced him.
Pretty much. So you forced me to pre-download the game.
And now you're more obsessed over it.
Yeah, I'm currently a higher level than you, and I really wasn't even that into. I hadn't seen a whole lot, or at least all of the Disney movies that the characters are based off of, so I didn't really have as much knowledge going into it. But I really kind of fell in love with the characters, and now I'm super into it.
And spending like $400 on one character card.
No,
We are easily lured by gotcha games. I admit it.
it's not that bad. That's Genshin.
Alright, Reggie.
Who's Anne?
Lilia.
Who's Aunt? Oh, who?
At the game, at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, the
Who was your ceremonial road first one?
Oh, Silver.
Oh yeah, it was so. I was like, I forgot who you got. Alright, any other questions or stories you want to share?
What's your favorite ship? That isn't obvious.
Okay. Shoot, favorite ship? That's not us.
Adeuce isn't a bad one.
Never mind, I remember Savanaclaw. I have a really big soft spot for childhood friends, especially when they're rivals. So I'm just like, yeah, I can't. Plus, I really just want Sebek to be somewhere away from Malleus because people make it weird, and I'm like, please stop. He'll get over it eventually. It's kind of just a phase. I think we're getting kicked out.
Thank you guys, that was so cute.